Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Montre. Today, I am going to talk about this discussion that I'm actually having on Facebook right now, and it's kind of related to the previous conversation or the previous video I made about forgiveness and would you forgive somebody who killed your mother? And I was talking about that because of the Charleston shooting and how a lot of Christians have jumped on the bandwagon of saying that they forgive this man. So I went into depth about what forgiveness means and what that really means when you forgive somebody, as in it cancels a debt. You can watch that video. I'll post a link to that. I don't want to go back and rehash all of that, but I want to really discuss when and when not to forgive and your alternatives when it comes to your spiritual life. So let's talk about it. I'm coming from the school of thought that it is not necessary to forgive all the time. Even though forgiveness is something we do for ourselves, there's a way of working with energy that you get from other people who offend you, or working with or when they do stuff against you. There's a way to work with that energy so that the law of karma can still fall into place. My whole thing with forgiveness, when you forgive somebody after they threw some energy at you, whether that be in words or actions or whatever, when people do something to you and you forgive them, what you're doing is you're canceling a debt. You're taking that energy and you're basically taking it within yourself, your own being, and you say, I forgive you. That means you transform that energy into a positive energy, and then you send it back to them. So what happens as a result? Well, the person who did the abusing, or the person who said something bad against you, or the person who attacked you, has something positive happen in their life now. They get a feeling of love, or something good happens to them. Now that's okay, because you just ended the cycle. Fine, that's great. And you feel better as a person because you gave out some positive energy. Okay, but you have to really take into account that you are stepping in the way of karma, because forgiveness is the only way to stop karma. Okay, because karma is basically, and I'm gonna break it down, when you do something to somebody, it comes back to you. That's karma. That's the law of karma. So if you say something, you do something, your actions create a ripple effect that in turn affects you. So it's the golden rule: do unto others as you have them do unto you. If you don't want anything bad happening to you, you need to keep yourself in check first. Don't do anything to anybody you don't want to have done to yourself. All right? That's the golden rule. Everybody knows that. So we want to treat people the same as we want to be treated, because eventually the energy comes back to us. Now, people will say, Montre, it's good to forgive because it makes me feel better. All right, I'm going to teach you a way that you can get rid of energy, or you can control energy without forgiving. I want you to kind of throw away that school of thought, that old school of thought, that if you don't forgive somebody, you're going to hell. That is not the case. Especially for my Christian believers. My Christian believers, a lot of believe that if you don't forgive somebody, you're going to hell. But let me tell you what, the biblical Christian God is not forgiving everybody, according to the Bible. And I don't see God throwing himself in hell. Okay? And here's another thing. And then I put this on my Facebook as well. I said the Christian biblical God doesn't forgive anybody that doesn't ask for it. So why are you doing it? Why are you forgiving people who aren't asking for forgiveness? Now, true, if somebody asks for forgiveness, it is your duty to go ahead and forgive them, to transform the energy that they threw at you and stop it. Stop the karmic cycle. If they apologize, if they ask for forgiveness, then it is your duty to stop the karmic cycle of energy that has come to you before you give it back to them. Otherwise, then you become responsible for all the negative energy that is generated after they ask for forgiveness. Thus, the continuous cycle of hate will continue. But energy has these different forms. These fire, remember, fire, water, earth, and air. When somebody comes at you offensively, they throw some negative energy at you, at your way. You can respond in the fire form. That means action. So if somebody says something bad to you, you can respond like the fire, and you can hit their ass. Of course, you are transferring that energy back to them physically. And they will feel it, and most likely they will hit you back. And you can go back and forth hitting each other until one of you gives up. When one of you gives up, the one who gives up is transforming the energy. He's either going to apologize or he's going to give up. And that transforming of that energy, when he gives up, releases that winner feel for the person who won. So the person feels satisfied who won because they're receiving this victorious feeling of, I'm the victor now. So that's how that fire energy works. Now that's not the best way to handle energy transfer. Then there is air. You can become air. When somebody transfers energy your way, air is about communication. So more than likely, relationships handle energy transfer this way. So say, for instance, your girlfriend or boyfriend is mad at you and they come at you wrong. They come at you wrong. They all like in your face and stuff like that. And you're like, whoa, 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 what happened? So the air energy, or you can take the form of air and you can decide to intellectually rationalize what they're talking about. You can rationalize everything that they do, and you can communicate, because communicating changes energy. So when somebody comes at you offensively, you can choose to become air and act like the air and communicate and transform that energy. Okay, so that's one way. And that's another way of transforming energy and sending it back to the person without forgiving them. Haven't forgiven them yet. Haven't forgiven them. You just transfer the energy. Because you could communicate and it can still be negative. You could communicate and cuss them out and got your point across. But either way, you can transfer the energy. So you have to watch what you say, because that's transferring energy through air. Okay, so the next way is to transfer energy through earth. Okay, now this way is kind of like blocking. Now Christians, church people are very familiar with binding spirits, but it's very possible to bind and block humans. And a funny story, I had a friend, she used to always create spiritual shields around herself. She used to always block. So when I would ask a psychic about her, the psychic would always tell me, she's got a shield around her, she's blocking. She knew she was doing it too. She was consciously doing it. You can create spiritual blocks around you so that people don't bother you as much. It won't stop them from doing what they do. It's like blocking somebody on your cell phone. They'll still send you a message, but you just won't get it. Or it won't bother you as much. So earth energy, when somebody comes at you offensively, you can choose to take that energy in and release it to the earth. You can be like the rock and block. Be like the rock and block. Put your shields up. Put your spiritual shields up, and you can block energy and keep it from coming at you. Okay? So in that turn, it just gets absorbed. But see, the thing is, when you act like the earth and you take the form of earth when people are coming at you, you're absorbing a lot. And a lot of people in abusive relationships end up becoming like rocks, and they absorb a lot. They're blocking. They're on the defensive all the time. They're not really giving it back. So if you act like the earth and you're blocking a lot of the energy, but you're absorbing the impact, it can be really stressful. And usually those people tend to try to forgive to stop the cycle. but it won't. Just because you forgive somebody doesn't mean they're going to stop attacking you. That's just reality. So when you block the energy, you need to have a release. You need to have a way of releasing the energy back into the universe. You gotta do something, otherwise you're gonna go crazy. You're gonna feel the law of the pressure. You're going to feel it eventually. You mean, if you keep hitting at rocks, those rocks are gonna start chipping, and that's just the bad part. It's good for a one-time thing. It's not good if you have somebody who's constantly attacking you, like a bully at school, or you're in an abusive relationship. Blocking energy only works for so long. Then there is to become like water. And Bruce Lee was always talking about that. You have to become like water with your opponent. If somebody's attacking you, you can become like water and allow those attacks to go through you and flow back to the other person. This is another way of dealing with people who are offensive without becoming offensive to them. So you allow karma to go through you back to the other person. So you can say, I don't receive this. And this is really simple. You can just say, I don't receive your energy from the person that brought this energy to me. I send it back to them. And say, don't receive it within yourself. Say, I don't receive this energy. I send it back to where it came from. I don't receive this negative energy from this person. I send it back to where it came from. And what happens is it just flows right through you. You become like water, just like them passing through a river. And it's going to come back around, because that's what happens with karma. Karma is a cycle, everything. It goes in cycles, just like the solar system. It's going to come around, it's going to go around. It's going to come around, it's going to go around. That's the universe that we live in. The universe made in cycles and circles. So you can become like water and allow the energy to flow through you. So once again, it's water. You can let the energy to flow through you. You can be like earth. You can take the impact and block it, but you can only do it for so long. You need to release it. You need to have a spiritual mode of releasing the energy back into the universe or back into the earth. Like take some time to meditate and sit on the ground and get your root chakra down on the ground and let the energy flow through you and out of you. You can come like air. You can communicate in, like I said, relationships most often, even in society. In YouTube blogs, we see most people use the air to transfer energy or to transform energy. What is Mr. doing back there? And then we have fire. There's a time and a place to fight. Should not be your first and go-to method of dealing with negative energy. But there is a time and a place. So those are your different methods of dealing with energy without using forgiveness that use the law of karma. Okay? I know this video was long. I was trying to go as fast as possible, but I know a lot of people like to just use forgiveness, which is great. It's fine to forgive. It is divine to forgive if somebody asks you for forgiveness. But if they are not asking you for forgiveness and they are constantly on the attack on you, you need to know how to deal with their energy. Okay? And sometimes the best way is just to get out the situation. Alright, so give me your comments on that, because if you don't do it, then who will? Peace out.